In today's video, we're going to be going over the current conditions. We're going to be breaking down the upcoming pattern because a lot has actually changed. And we're also going to be taking a look at the upcoming severe weather. Now let's get straight into this video. And first things first, we're taking a look here at our current radar imagery. We have quite a bit of storminess going on up here in the northwest. It's pretty scattered around, so we will zoom in and talk about that in a moment. For the northeast and kind of the mid-Atlantic, at this point, we've had some shower activity going on overnight into this morning. We are going to have quite a bit of thunderstorm activity for the southeast. So today is actually the worst severe weather day that we can see at this point in the southeast. We need to talk about this because there is actually some supercell potential for this region, which is actually fairly unusual. Maybe once or twice a year, if that, we see this type of activity in this region. So we need to talk about that. And we also have some ongoing severe weather here for kind of the Gulf states and the deep south. So we'll talk about that as well. So let's just go ahead and zoom in here first off to the northwest. We do have some showery activity kind of heading northward just like this. And as you head a little bit further inland, it's mostly heading in a easterly direction. So we see things kind of flowing like this at this point. Now, there is more precipitation offshore, and likely this is going to be heading towards the Washington and Seattle region, so be on the lookout for this as well. We can see that there's more widespread showers around for these regions, and it actually is in the form of snowfall for some of these Rocky Mountains out here. So for the highest elevations, that is what is taking place. I actually see more snow in the future for you guys, so stay tuned for the model guidance portion, and we'll talk more about the upcoming snowfall. We do have a lot of showery activity going on up here, like I mentioned before, mostly inland. So for these coastal regions in here, there isn't as much activity. That's actually crucial. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'll zoom in down to here in a little while. We do have quite a bit of showery activity, like I mentioned. Heavier in some spots, like here for Missouri and Illinois. I see it's heavier there. Ohio and West Virginia here, we see this heavier pocket in there. Even Pennsylvania, it's pretty moderate to heavy in here. So there's some pockets of that heavier activity. And then there's some lighter areas here, like the lower peninsula of Michigan. It's looking pretty light in there, but it is raining for sure. And then even northern Ohio is in the more light to moderate category, I would say. Now, as we zoom into the southeast, like I mentioned, this is important to note here because we are expecting, again, that supercell activity to take place here east of the Appalachian Mountains here. And it's important to note that these showers are kind of moving around this region. As you can see, they're not making it into this circle that much. And this is allowing for temperatures to warm up. I'm looking out my window right now, and it's actually quite sunny right now. So the sun is peeking out. There's no showers here in Virginia. And that is really, really crucial because that's going to allow for these temperatures to rise fairly high. Okay, the humidity is going to build in, and this is all the types of things that build up CAPE, convective available potential energy. We've talked about this before on the channel, but if you're not familiar, I refer to it as thunderstorm fuel or food because that's exactly how it works. Thunderstorms move into the region, and if there's high CAPE, which is basically humidity and temperatures combined, and it takes that and it makes an equation of how much potential energy there is for thunderstorms. As they eat that up, they intensify. So high humidity, high temperatures are all types of things that build in sunny, hot conditions. And when there's no showers in the area, that only enhances the risk of higher CAPE. So I hope that makes sense. Things are looking more elevated for this region, and we'll take a look at the Storm Prediction Center in a little while. Like I mentioned, there is a pretty bad outlook for today. We do see this severe weather activity that's been going on overnight into this morning for the Florida Panhandle, southern Alabama, even into southern Georgia, probably a little bit later on. We'll be watching this region as there is some tornado warnings that have popped up. Not only that, severe thunderstorm warnings pretty widespread with this bow echo of a thunderstorm in there, probably bringing some straight line winds and also, again, that tornado threat. All right. Now that all that's been said, what we're going to do is we're going to move on, take a look at that modeled guidance, and then we're going to break down the Storm Prediction Center. Now here is our simulated radar. Let's keep going with this a little bit. We see things build in for this region by the time we're reaching about the afternoon hours of this afternoon. Obviously, we have a 998 millibar low pressure center in there, and this is really bringing a pretty intense pattern. We see this storm as well, this storm down here, and the jet stream is doing about like this, mostly a ridge here in the central United States, a little bit of a trough here in the northwest, and a little bit of a trough here in the northeast. So nothing too crazy yet. As we reach later this evening, we can see these heavier thunderstorms in this region, especially up here This is what I'm expecting. Mostly, I would say 8 to 11 p.m. here for a lot of Virginia and North Carolina. Some places that are in the more central regions of North Carolina and Virginia, and even the western regions, it's going to be a little bit earlier, maybe late afternoon into the evening is what I would say for those regions. But for coastal North Carolina, coastal Virginia, um, you're looking more towards 8 p.m. and beyond, I would say. There is the chance of a stray afternoon thunderstorm, though. I will say that, too. As we continue on with this is when we start to get snowfall for these regions. Like I mentioned, there is snowfall expected. So for Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming, even though we're not seeing really a lot of snowfall now, you can see things get a lot more snowy, and even they continue to be snowy. This is by time reaching about 8 p.m. on Sunday. We see plenty of snowfall taking place by this point. Later on Monday, this is Monday afternoon, May 9th, look at that. Plenty of snowfall going on. Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, probably even Colorado in there. So a classic northwest snowstorm there. We're going to be seeing plenty of this activity there. Tuesday afternoon, things get a little bit quieter in here. Jet stream is generally doing this. Just like through the roof warmth for the eastern and central United States especially. There will be some cooler air in the southeast like we've mentioned before. Definitely a trough here in the western United States, bringing some colder conditions. Let's continue on with this. And it gets so quiet. Look at that for a few days there. It's just really minimal activity. Maybe some spotty thunderstorms taking place in this region as things do get warm and humid in there. Look at those popping up. But outside of that, really, really quiet pattern, I'd say, from about Tuesday through Wednesday, even into Thursday. But then once Friday arrives, we get another major storm here in the northwest, bringing some snowfall, some rainfall. We also see for the southeast, we see this coastal low, bringing some snowfall, rainfall there for the southeastern United States and some colder temperatures. We see that continue on, and that's really the main activity we see from about the 14th through the 16th. We're seeing mostly this area see precipitation. We do see some activity here in the central United States. But I'll tell you this, over the next 10 days, which we just took a look at the entire 10-day period, the jet stream really heads further north up there in Canada. And we are going to see more summer-like weather in the entire United States as we approach the middle of May. I mean, I know, obviously we're 10 days closer to summer, so obviously things should be progressing warmer. But it is pretty dramatic from what we've been seeing the past 2 weeks to what we're going to be seeing a week and a half, 2 weeks from now. More dramatic than what you would typically expect in that type of a time difference. So things are going to progress rather rapidly, I would say. Now, here's the total precipitation through the next 10 days. So we're expecting quite a bit there for the Northwest, even the upper regions of the central and western United States. I'd say we're getting quite a bit. And then also for the Southeast here in the Mid-Atlantic with that coastal low. But not only that, the storms that are expected over the next couple of days. We're going to see quite a bit of precipitation. So if you're anywhere in the grays, you're going to be at 0.1 or less inches of rainfall. Whites are going to be almost nothing. Greens will be 0.1 to 0.5 inches of rainfall. Your blues are going to be half an inch to an inch. Yellows will be an inch to 2 inches. Reds will be 2 to 5 inches. And then your browns will be 5 to 10 inches of rainfall, which we don't see much of that. We see a lot of it here for Oregon and California, it looks like, but that's about it. So let's take a look at the total snowfall, and this is lessening every single day, but we do still see some up here for the northwestern United States, obviously with the upcoming snowfall. But isn't it amazing, when we first started showing this daily, we saw some snowfall in here, and then it seems like a week after I started showing it, there was snowfall here, but not really anywhere further south. And now look at this dome of no snow that we're seeing in the eastern United States. This snow line has receded so far northward, and it is a testament to how close we're moving towards the summertime. It's been really interesting to watch. Now, for the grays, we're looking at a dusting. If anything, blues will be 2 to 6 inches of snowfall. Purples will be 6 to 10. Pinks will be 10 to 20. And then your pastels are going to be your 20 to 48 inches plus amounts. So keep that in mind. Find your region here if you are expecting snowfall. And the color table here is on the bottom. You can find the exact color and how many inches that would really translate to. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at the upcoming temperature pattern real quickly. All right, and here is the upcoming temperature pattern. Let's just keep moving on with this. I really just want to see how this progresses. We do see some colder air in the region here for the United States as we see a cold front come through. This isn't going to last too long, I will say that. We do have cold already in the west, which usually means the warmth is going to head further eastward. So usually you don't see cold here for very long. So we should expect to see this warm move further and further east over time, and it really does. We see this jet stream doing about like this, like we mentioned. Well, maybe even more dramatic than that. Maybe like this. But this coastal low is just trying to hang on and push these ocean winds onshore to the eastern United States, and the ocean is rather cold right now. So this translates towards cold air really building in here for the eastern coast of the United States. So we're going to miss out on a lot of these warmer temperatures that our central United States folks are really going to bask in, I would say, because it stays warm for a very long time, and we really do not break away from that cold in the southeast, and it takes a long time to break away from the cold in the west as well. So we stay locked in. There's not a lot to talk about because we stay locked into this pattern where for this region we see mostly cold over here, and then warmth for a lot of these regions. I mean, this stays true for a very, very long time. So we start seeing this around Monday, May 9th, so just a few days from now, and look at how locked in we stay. I mean, general, that's crazy. Look at that. We just stay in that pattern for a very, very long time. At the very end here, this is the 15th in through the 16th time frame, we do start to see warmth here for the west coast, which could indicate that cold is going to head further eastward, which would end this coastal low that's bringing precipitation onshore. That would bring that to an end too. So we see a potential flip up in the pattern at the end, but that is crazy how long we stay in that pattern, maybe 5+ days. So absolutely wild stuff there. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, since there's not a lot to talk about on the temperature department other than just staying in the same pattern for a very long time. We're going to be talking about the Storm Prediction Center now, where there is less to talk about, but today does look very potent, so we're going to talk all about that. Now, here is the categorical outlook. In the lighter greens, we have a general thunderstorm risk, so keep that in mind. That is where general thunderstorms are expected, but nothing can ever be ruled out. Obviously, there is human error involved. Keep that in mind that anything is possible. Heed every single watch, warning, and advisory, regardless of if you're in the white, green, yellow, orange, anything. Pay attention, because the weather is very unpredictable, obviously. Now, darker green regions, that's our marginal risk of severe weather, and that's where we expect isolated severe weather to take place. The yellow area is our slight risk of severe weather, and that's where we expect scattered severe weather to take place. And then the orange region there is our enhanced risk of severe weather, and that's where we expect widespread severe weather to be possible. Keep that in mind. Things could get very dangerous in the orange area. Let's take a look at the individual outlooks real quickly. And first things first, we have the damaging wind outlook. This is all based on 25 miles of a given location, but if you're anywhere in the greens, we have a 5% chance of damaging wind within 25 miles of a given location. In the yellow areas, we have a 15% chance of damaging wind within 25 miles of a given location. Within the red regions, we have a 30% chance of damaging winds within 25 miles of a given location. So keep in mind that is rather high, obviously, for a 25-mile given location. I mean, really, if you're thinking 25 miles from your house, to have a 30% chance of damaging winds taking place in there is pretty high. Now, for the hail, obviously, we're in the eastern United States. That's what we're talking about today. Hail is usually a lower probability thing for the eastern United States as opposed to the central United States. So we have a 5% chance in the green. This is, again, all based on 25 miles of a given location. And then we have a 15% chance there in the yellow. So we don't have that 30% chance for hail at this point. Tornadoes are looking rather concerning here today as well. We have, for the eastern United States is probably one of the higher risks. It's probably the highest risk we've seen all year for the eastern United States, and probably one of the highest we've seen over the last few years. It's not every single year you get up into the 10% territory for the eastern United States, or the East Coast, I should say. For Georgia and Alabama, it's a little bit more common. Obviously, we've probably seen that multiple times this year already. But up there for North Carolina and Virginia, 10% is unusual. So we have a 2% chance of tornadoes within 25 miles of a given location within the green regions. We have a 5% chance of tornadoes within 25 miles of a given location there within the brown regions, and then a 10% chance of tornadoes within 25 miles of a given location there within the yellows. Keep that in mind. Looking rather concerning today, obviously. So heed every single watch, warning, and advisory. I want everybody to stay safe. For the day 2 categorical outlook, things are looking a little bit less dramatic. Obviously, we have 3 general thunderstorm risk areas there in the lighter greens. Again, that is where we expect general thunderstorms, but heed every watch, warning, and advisory as always. We also have 2 darker green regions, and that's where we expect isolated severe weather to take place. We also have a day 3 outlook here, which looks rather similar. Again, general thunderstorms in the lighter greens, isolated severe weather there in the darker green. That's for Saturday, May 7th. And then for day 4 here, we actually have a extended outlook here, 15% chance of severe weather there for Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. And that's where we expect at least a slight risk of severe weather for Monday, May 9th. So keep that in mind as we move forward. We're expecting severe weather there in the extended range a little bit. Anyway, for today's confidence tab, we're moving out of this current batch of storms, but we're at a 5 out of 6 for one last time, I would say. Probably we're going to be a 4 out of 6 by tomorrow. For today's patron highlighted today, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons, Bill Craich, James Wade, Dovin Nagel, Little Pant, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Carnes as well. I would also like to thank our diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Cotto, Lessa Catbite, Charles Dennett, Bill Dallas, Gary's, and John Calisi also. I'd also like to thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.